Hi everyone, my name is Hilde. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about something different. This is a different video than what I usually do. Usually I don't really go in depth about my disability because I'm quite set on my medical privacy. So I usually kind of branch over it, but I'm also the kind of person that doesn't just accept bullshit, if that makes sense. So I want to talk about an instance of discrimination that happened to me today. I have a thing called a museum pass. Basically, anybody can get it. I'm not sure if you have to be over a certain age or not, potentially. But basically, you pay, depending on whether you have automatic renewal on or whether you get an actual card and not just use the app, you pay around, say, 60 euros a year. Which is reasonable because it's literally your entrance fee for that year for hundreds of participating museums throughout Belgium, which is great. And the previous 2 years I've had it, it's basically not only paid for itself, but like generated profit. I mean, I paid much less with that amount of, basically my card fee was much less than I would have paid for all the museum visits added up. So yeah, I mean, for me, it was great value for money. And at this point, today, March 17th, as I filmed this, probably won't edit it today, but as I filmed this, it's basically paid for itself. And it started, I think, beginning of November. So that's quite good. Anyway, so I am also disabled. I have a government recognized disability, meaning I also have the EU disability card. And what I will do if I go to a museum with a friend or with my husband, with Bert, I will show them my museum pass. I will show them my disability card and say, like, I have a museum pass, but I'm also in need of a carer. This is my proof of disability. And they'll be like, okay, cool. And they'll just check, okay, this is your picture. It's a valid card. They'll scan my museum pass. Okay, cool. That's also still valid. And they'll just be like, here's your entrance ticket. Because, you know, at some point you're going to have to pass security and show them your ticket. It's you know, it's fine. It's not been an issue. I've been to many museums the past couple of years, some multiple times, and it's always been fine. I've been with Valentine, I've been with Claire, I've been with my niece, I've been with my husband. It's been good fun. I've really enjoyed it, and great. So I've been to Museum De Reede in Antwerp twice, and once with a friend, once with Bert, and both times I've showed them my museum pass. They scanned it, it was fine. I've showed them my disability card, they checked it, it was fine, and they've given me a carer ticket because I had a valid entry ticket, which was my museum pass. Cool beans, right? Now, today I went with my husband. We wanted to see the Dürer Expo. I was really looking forward to that, and it's only running till the end of the month, so I'm probably not gonna make it now. And they said, and initially the lady was like, oh, cool, no problem. And she scans my museum pass, it was still valid. Well, it's still valid till like beginning of November. So it was, yeah, it's fine, no problem. She looked at my disability card. She was like, yep, this is you. It's not expired, brilliant. And then she checks the computer system and she's like, oh, but this doesn't work. And I said, like, why doesn't it work? It's worked before in the past, it was fine. She was like, no, in order to get a carer ticket, you have to buy a ticket. And I said, but I have a museum pass. She was like, no, the museum pass is not valid for you. And I said, like, so basically you're telling me that a disabled person is not allowed a museum pass in order to be allowed a carer? That's discrimination. She got quite testy at that. She was like, no, that's not true. You can't tell me I'm discriminating. And she was quite upset about it, but I was upset about it at that point. And I tried to explain to her, no, this is my ticket. This is literally your entrance ticket for all participating museums as long as it's valid. So, I mean, like, what's the point of buying a museum pass if I have to buy tickets at the door, so to speak? And she wouldn't hear it. She was quite annoyed about it. A colleague of hers arrives and I explained the situation to him and he seemed, understanding enough. And then she was like, no, and he sided with her. Whether he sided with her because he agreed, or whether he sided with her because he had to work with her and just didn't want drama, I don't know. But he literally said, like, either he pays 10 euros and gets in, or you pay 10 euros and he gets a carer ticket. I was like, and at that point I had several times said, like, look, if it's this big of a problem, we'll just leave, because I'm not paying for a ticket. I've already bought my ticket. This is the equivalent basically of like buying a ticket online only to be told when you're checking in at the door that you have to pay for a new ticket in person. Like, that makes no sense. So yeah, I told them, like, look, this is discrimination against people with disabilities, because you're basically denying me a carer because you're telling me that the ticket I've bought, which is a valid ticket, is no longer valid because I'm disabled. Absolutely no desire to even listen, to even consider the fact that I could be right. And then it was like, how dare you say that? This is discrimination. This is what it is. I'm literally calling the thing, you know? So I literally told the gentleman at the desk, like, it's fine. We're just gonna leave. And I'll sort it out with UNIA. UNIA is the anti-discrimination office, and I will contact them as soon as I stop filming. I'm 99% sure they're gonna side with me, because this is flat out discrimination. It lists on their website that a carer for a person with disabilities gets in free. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't list on the website. It also says if you have a museum pass, you get in free. It doesn't list on the website if you have a museum pass, you're not allowed a carer. Quite obviously, because that would be against the law. The museum pass website also does not list that if you are disabled, you are suddenly no longer allowed a carer. Because again, discrimination is against the law. So yeah, I will contact them as well. I just wanted to put this out there. If you go to the Museum De Reede in Antwerp and you have, like me, a museum pass and a disability, and you have proof of that disability, please be aware that there's a 50-50 chance that they will give you the same grief that they've given me today, but potentially they'll just let you in because they let me in before, twice. They're definitely the exception. They're the only museum where they've actually adamantly refused me a carer ticket just because I hadn't bought a ticket directly via them. So yeah, it is discrimination. End of story. It's not that I don't want to pay for a ticket, it's just that I'm not gonna buy 2 tickets for 1 entry. I've bought my museum pass, I'm allowed the entry. It's a participating museum, it's that simple. It's like buying 2 movie tickets for 1 person, you know? No, for the same movie at the same time. So no, it's not happening. It's a matter of principle, and also like it's a discrimination I should not stand for and not gonna stand for. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because I think it's important to just point this out and share it and say, like, look, this is not okay and it happened, and I'm not gonna just sit here and accept it because it is unacceptable. So, update. It is now Thursday the 26th, I believe. What is time? Other than a construct. Anyway, it's been over a week. On Monday the 17th, after the entire thing happened at Museum De Reede, I emailed UNIA, I emailed Museum Pas, and I phoned in with the local police station. And the officer I spoke to, she was super kind, super friendly. She let me do my entire story. She asked, like, legitimately, like, the questions she should be asking. She wasn't being like any kind of demeaning or stupid or whatever. She really listened, and she was like, look, this is an actual case of discrimination. You can come in, we can give you an appointment, and you can come in and you can either file a complaint, or you can have it on record. And then she actually advised me how to best proceed. even if I wouldn't want to come in and, have it recorded or file a complaint or whatever. And she advised, like, okay, you've emailed Unia, you've emailed Museum Pass, wait till they respond and then email the museum and then see what they say. So on Tuesday, the 18th, so the next day, I already had an answer from Museum Pass. And the guy was like super friendly as well. He was like, okay, let me just so there's no misunderstandings, let me get it straight. This is what happened. Can you confirm this? If that is exactly the case, can you please email the museum and put us in CC so we can actually follow it up? And he agreed with me. He was like, no, you should have gotten a carrier ticket with your museum pass. No question about it. So I emailed Museum De Reede and I sent them a really kind email. I was like, look, I've visited you 2 times and the first time it was amazing. We had really good interaction with staff. And the next time there was nothing wrong, but it was just like very busy. So all interaction was very minimal. But this is what happened. And I basically recapped the entire situation. And then it took, I think, 2 days before I got a response. I was not happy. Basically, it felt like my email was barely read because a lot of the things that were responded to were clearly like, it hadn't been read properly because the way the gentleman responded was like, he made several errors. Like, he was like, oh, but the gentleman who you spoke to at the museum, no. It was a lady who first denied me and then he just basically agreed with her. And stuff like that. And basically, I had to correct him a couple of times. And I kind of wanted to say, like, can you please just reread my email before you throw an entire, oh, look at that. This is our disability page. And we're actually really pro people with disabilities. And we're like, do a lot of effort. And I'm like, first of all, it's very belittling and patronizing to just be like, oh, here's the link. Because I can assure you that if somebody is disabled, they will have checked your website for your, basically, how you will be accommodating people with disabilities. We will have checked. Trust me. You don't have to be like, oh, but here's a link. No, we will have found said link. The fact that I was able to quote your website when it came to like carrier tickets and stuff kind of proves that I've been on your side. So yeah, I was not happy with that. But I just responded and said, like, look, I think there's been something's been lost in translation, so to speak. And then I just like pointed it out again and said, like, look, so knowing this, what is your response? And then I got an email, which to me read very rudely. And I had my husband read all of it. And he was like, what the actual fuckery? And he was also like, that last response was like very rude. He was like, yeah, you should have gotten a carrier ticket. I hope it's now sorted. And that was it. It was like very, very much like, it felt to me as in, you uppity disabled person, how dare you, just like, not just taking this. Like, why are you making a point? It felt like that. I felt very belittled and I just felt very like unwelcome in general at the museum there. And it reads to me as in, they're just saying all these things because Museum Pass is in CC and they're just like, basically like covering their tracks, covering their bases. So I have no leg to stand on, if that makes sense. I have at this point not heard from Unia and I've been waiting to finish up this video till I had a response from them. So I don't know what's happening there. In the past, they've been quite good at getting back quite quickly. So it's been over a week. So I don't know whether they are swamped and just haven't had time to get back at me or whether they're just not going to come back at me, going to give me any kind of response at all. So if they do, I will come back to it and I will link to where that follow-up is in the description of this video. But as of me filming this, I have no idea what they're going to say. I don't imagine they're going to side with Museum De Reede, because both Museum Pass and the actual federal police have, been on my side. So there is that. I mean, I will say that it does. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, vindicated, the police has agreed with me. But it was at least nice that somebody was like, no, you're not wasting my time. I am happy to listen to you. This is an actual, this happened. You were discriminated against. This was not okay. And here, these are all your options. And I'm just gonna take all the time that you need to have this conversation. And A+ for that police lady. I mean, seriously, double chef's kiss. I wish I had remembered her name so I could just put a note in their mailbox to thank her, because it's really nice when people actually listen to you and take you serious. Even because the thing is, when you're disabled, and especially when you have an invisible disability, you get in a lot of situations where people don't believe you or just minimize things. So it's nice when somebody is actually no, I believe you, and you were right in this instant, and here are your options. And I take zero enjoyment of kicking the can, so to speak. But the reality of the matter is disabled people are often made to feel like they shouldn't rock the boat. Don't what's the word I'm looking for? Brain fog. It is real. Don't disturb the status quo, so to speak, So I feel on one hand that I'm a ginormous troublemaker doing this, but on the other hand, it's important to get these things out, to not just be oh, this happened, and just don't do anything about it, because this is it is quite serious. Because the thing is, if we don't speak up, this keeps on repeating itself. Because the way I was talked to by that, well, in Dutch is verantwoordelijke, so that's kind of responsible. But I think in English that would be a curator. But the way he spoke to me, I don't feel like the situation is solved. I mean, part of me doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. Frankly, I'm if this is how you treat me, then whatever. There's hundreds of museums that I can go to with my museum pass. And this is literally the one museum that literally denied me entry. So yeah, so I'm I will take my business elsewhere, so to speak. But on the other hand, I kind of want to go back just to see what they will do. Just to see whether I will be standing corrected, and they'll have literally briefed all their personnel and be guys, look, if somebody shows up with a valid European disability card or any proof of disability, as well as a museum pass, they are allowed a free carer. I mean, you don't have to make them buy a ticket. It's fine. But they will have properly briefed their personnel, and next time I show up, they'll be yeah, absolutely, here's your carer ticket, here's your entrance ticket, whatever. That would be amazing. I would love that. I literally would love that. I am not sitting here going I hope they will fail. No. I want them to do better, not for me, but for every other disabled person who is in the same situation as me and goes in with a carer hoping to see the expo or the collection or whatever, because they have some really cool art, So yeah, I mean, I hope it will get sorted. I really do, honestly. But yeah, so I kind of want to go and see if it got sorted. But I know that if I get denied again, I know myself, I will be really, really mad, and I will call into the local cops, and I will make that appointment, and I will file that complaint. Because, dang it, if that happens again, then they just flat out lied to me, They will have lied, and
it's just like, no, it's not acceptable. It's beyond the pale. And I know there's worse things happening in the world. I am aware. But the reality is, I'm still disabled and I'm not the only one. And even like the little things, if we let those slide, we give way to letting worse things slide. So, you see my point? So yeah, I feel like we need to, take a stand. And this is the stand. This is what I'm doing with this story hour. I'm like literally saying like, this happened. Will I go back? I don't know. I'm probably going to miss the Durer Expo because it ends this Monday, coming Monday, the 31st. And I'm pretty sure that the only person I could take with me to go is my husband. And he's very much of the, he's like very set in his, I will never set foot in De Reede ever again because the way you were treated is beyond the pale and I will have absolutely, I will not be part of like supporting that museum in any way, shape or form. So yeah, I completely understand where he's coming from because in part I'm feeling the same, but it's a really good collection and I really want to give him the chance to prove that they've done better. So there is that. Yeah. I'd like to see, I kind of would like to see what happens next. Story time, I guess, and that's the end of it. I'm not gonna waffle even more. I've waffled long enough and I've made my point, I'm sure. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. And this hasn't chased you off my channel. Bye!